Billy Madison was the stupidest thing I ever saw. Adam Sandler's first film. He called me up. I do a thing in my show about this. He begged and pleaded, and I said, I've got to. I'm not doing comedies anymore. You know what I mean? I suddenly had a real attitude. You see, you're laughing. This is good because you come to Carnegie Hall, you're going to hear that story.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Pulling
when
me
you
up.
said I can't make this up, you made me think of the Adam Sandler story. I was going to ask you on it, so this is perfect.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, listen, man, because these big ones, small ones, they were so successful. I was like, I was the king of comedy. Now, honestly, I wasn't writing anything funny for any of these pictures. I was writing romance, action, darkness. That if you have to write something funny for comedy, it means that the person in the lead, whether it's Joe Pesci or Jim Carrey or Eddie Murphy, they ain't doing their job.
That's right.
You don't need to accompany their shit. Like I said, My Cousin Vinny, what did I write? I wrote the South.
Yep.
I didn't write their New York, Brooklyn lingo. That I didn't need it. So anyway, I told him, and then you'd have to come.
You made Adam Sandler sing to you on the phone, right?
I made him. I said to him, yeah, and I go over this in the show. The guy calls me up, and I said, listen, man, I'd love to do it, but and I mean, I acted like I didn't know who he was. I knew who he was. And then he was so persuasive that I said, you know what? A few months ago, I saw you do something on Saturday Night Live. It was called the Hanukkah song. And I remember seeing that and saying, oh, when I do the same thing. If I want to do something that's kind of quirky and you come up with a good idea and you do a couple of bars and everybody laughs, this wasn't that. This was a whole damn opera that he wrote, very involved, which meant he had a lot of talent. So I said to him, I saw you do that. If you can sing me that over the phone, we were on a landline. If you could sing me that, I'm not saying I'll do your picture, but I'll allow you to send it over to my house tomorrow and I'll look at it. He gets on the phone 10 seconds later and he plays probably 4 or 5 minutes of that thing. And I was on the floor laughing. So the next day he sends it over. I call him back and I say, listen, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I said, I don't know. And he said to me, I'll never forget, he said, that's exactly why you're the only person that I know in town who can do it properly. It started out with a guy dressed up in a penguin suit running around a pool. So anyway, yeah. So I told him, I said, okay, after I saw it, I called him. I said it was stupid. He didn't take it personally at all. And he said, I said, okay, there's a whole thing with film composers and directors, and they take up your time, and it's just a horrible thing. You have to plan when you're going to write and when they're going to come over and want to look at stuff. So I said, look, I will do it. I'll do it for you. When's the recording date? He said it's, in a month or something. I said, okay, but you cannot call me and you cannot come by my house and you cannot hear a note. And he said, deal.
Nice.
And I saw him again until the first scoring date. And then in the show, I play what I wrote for the opening of that film, but I would never put myself in the kind of jeopardized place of that. I wrote an alternate that was a more straight kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But when I did it at the studio with a live orchestra, I was going to say, no, that's just a joke, and then do the real one. His face was pressed against the glass when I turned around, and he said, oh, my God, that's it. So I never got to do the real opening of that picture because he liked the crazy thing that I wrote.
Yeah.